Today on What's Next.
I feel very lucky in that I found a cause bigger than my own life.
And I think it's time for people to embrace what they have and appreciate what they have.
I think we are moved by passion.
Hello and welcome to What's Next. I'm Mark Middleton, here to get you thinking about what's next in your life, because it turns out that having a what's next is actually critical to our overall health and well-being. In fact, the Japanese believe that everyone has an ikigai, a reason for being. The French call it a raison d'etre. Call it whatever you like. Having a passion, having a purpose is absolutely essential as we age. So let's bring in my purposeful, passionate pals, Cecily Wilson, Amy Sweezy, and Bill Schaefer, all three of whom inspire me daily with their many passions. So let's find out what they're passionate about today. Amy, what do you think?
Oh, just today? Well, my long passion has been children and teaching children, especially in the STEM fields. But I think especially girls, encouraging them to be passionate about science, technology, engineering, and math is only a benefit as we go into the future.
I'm passionate about changing the lives of women, making sure women are standing stronger and bolder and wiser, even though life doesn't always go the way that they want, encouraging them to live life on purpose and with passion.
I am passionate about the fact that we get to help the viewers today on this program reignite the spark for life inside them, to let them know that their what's next can be better than they ever imagined.
Man, you guys are deep. I was actually thinking that I'm passionate about dinner. Nothing more than that right now. But Bill, you did recently meet a woman who is a true icon. She found her purpose back in her 30s, and now 60 years later, she is still passionate about it.
Yeah, y'all are gonna fall in love with her just like I did. I mean, she's a woman who isn't even 5 foot tall, but she sure is a giant in life. As a little girl, her family had to flee their home to escape the Holocaust, and was 2 countries later, she ended up in New York, and the only thing she brought with her was a desire to fight for fairness. Her name is Sonia Pressman Fuentes, and she became the first female attorney at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, then one of the founders of the National Organization for Women, and she hasn't stopped since. She's 93 years old now, still fighting for women's rights, spending hours at the computer in a retirement community, reaching out, connecting, helping to fight discrimination. So I said, Sonia, you're 93, you live in a retirement community, don't you want to retire?
Never occurred to me to do that. I think because women's rights is a cause you don't walk away from. It becomes a part of you. I feel very lucky that my profession as a lawyer and as a feminist activist is something that I could continue after I left paid employment. I can, thank God, write. I can speak. That's what I do. I write and I speak. And what a blessing that is.
You lived through such an unbelievable lifespan of occurrences and incidents and things that you did and things that happened to you. What can we learn about life from you?
I feel very lucky in that I found a cause bigger than my own life. And if you're lucky enough to find a cause that's bigger than your own life, that will give you great satisfaction. When I think of what the status of girls and women was when I got into this, NOW was founded in 1966. We didn't have such highfalutin ideas at that time. We just wanted women to be treated equally with regard to getting into colleges and law schools and medical schools and on the job. And we made a revolution in this country and in the world way beyond anything that we might have thought of. The changes that I have been fortunate enough to live to see in the status of girls and women is mind-blowing. I am so grateful to have seen those changes in my own lifetime.
Are you ever too old
I don't have the physical ability I had 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But if you have the physical and mental abilities and whatever other abilities you need so that you can do what it is you want to do, go do it. We only have one life.
Man, was she inspiring to be around. Sonia Pressman Fuentes saying that a purpose in life is everything. She believes, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's what keeps her going. And can you imagine taking on this 4'8" 93-year-old in a case of gender discrimination? She's relentless. And Amy, it just shows you how much of a difference one person really can make in the world.
Absolutely. Find a cause bigger than you was the quote that I took away from that. Through the course of this, I was fortunate enough to be able to talk with Sonia on the phone a couple of times. We exchanged emails. Every single time we communicated, she would say something about her next event that she had, her next talk. She was always looking forward to the next thing that she was going to be doing. And in her 90s, I mean, I think that's just a great testament.
Yeah, watching her, Cecily, did you even think that this is a 93-year-old?
No, absolutely not. But that line, that find a cause that's bigger than yourself. And, you know, back in the day, my whole purpose, I thought, was to land myself on a morning anchor desk in New York somewhere, a network, right? And then life kind of took another change and it flipped. But then I found a purpose. That purpose was to impact the lives of women whose lives have fallen apart. And so now my purpose, my cause, bigger than me, is to lead women through WOW Legacy Group, Women Overcoming with Willpower, and find out what's next.
You know, for me, she really is the embodiment of the fact that purpose fuels the life force. I mean, we see it all the time. It's important to have something that gets us out of bed every morning. We all need unfinished business, and your purpose, folks, doesn't have to be profound. It simply has to move you to action. In fact, it's interesting. Bill and I have interviewed dozens of active centenarians, and almost without exception, all of them over the age of 100 still have a daily to-do list, something that gets them up that they click off each and every day.
Every successful person has taken a risk.
One of the many ways that we express ourselves, that we present ourselves, is through our appearance. We become self-conscious about it when we're young and begin to compare ourselves to others, often with unhealthy and even tragic results. And, you know, it really isn't just a problem for teens. It can become an even bigger problem as we age and our bodies begin to change. Tracy Gold is a renowned personal stylist. She's a fashion designer and the host of the Tracy Gold Show, where she shares practical lifestyle tips for everyday women over the age of 40 and 50 and 60. And what we love about Tracy is her focus, which first and foremost is on helping all women love the body that they have.
For me, it was about finding clothes and a hairstyle and makeup and that kind of thing to represent who they are, not for them to replicate a me or any other fashion icon or any other person for that matter, but to really find their own beauty. And what I found was so interesting is that when I taught people how to dress for their body shape, it changed their relationship with their body. Because so many times, especially women, we look in the mirror and we see all the things that we don't like and we dress to try and cover those things up. That puts all of our focus on the parts that we don't like. However, when we flip that on its head and say, well, what is it that you do like, and start to focus on the things that you love about yourself and dress that, our own focus can change. And then the way people see us changes. It's an incredibly powerful thing. And I think it's time for people, both men and women, to embrace what they have and appreciate what they have.
You know, I love that message because this celebrity, influencer, consumer culture is everywhere. It's omnipresent. It's not only easy to compare ourselves to others, it's actually almost impossible not to. So finding your own style, being yourself can be a challenge. And, you know, our own Cecily Wilson recently tried out a new style of her own. Cec, I loved it. You didn't keep it long, but tell us about your experience and what your takeaway is.
Yeah, I took a risk just about a week or so ago, and it lasted 3 days because I wanted to do something different. I decided to go blonde, completely platinum blonde. I looked in the mirror and realized, who are you? Harpo? Who that woman? Who that woman? Because I didn't recognize who I was. But I love the fact that she says to embrace who you really, really are. So when I took that risk, it's not one size fits all, but I do know, and you know this, Mark, that every successful person has taken a risk. And when you take that risk, you really have to, take all of that comes with it. So sometimes it may work for you, and then other times you're like, I got to start all over again. But when you do, you're taking all of that experience, all of the equity that you've gained, and putting it into something new and something that's repurposed.
And the cool thing is, the more risk you take, the easier it becomes to take them. And Cecily, we shouldn't be afraid to take risk when it comes to our personal style, and we shouldn't be hurt or take it personal when it doesn't pan out. And Bill and Amy, you are both fashion icons. I mean, Bill, the stuff that you wear some days just astounds me. Are you guys satisfied, confident in your own personal style, or are you looking for change every now and then like Cecily did?
I'm the guy that stands in front of the mirror and goes, when did I lose my hair? How long have I been gray? I don't even pay attention. I'm not sure, maybe that's a terrible thing, or maybe it's okay because I'm really not too focused on me in a plain dress shirt. That's kind of who I am. But yeah, I wish I did have the confidence and maybe the fashion sense to be a little bit more out there.
I think the key for me is to stop trying to impress others and do what makes me happy. So choose the clothes that I like and that I think look good on me, and not try to keep up with the Kardashians or whatever the case may be. Once you take the focus off the magazines and the books and the TV and the shows and the social media and the influencers telling me that I need to look like this, and just realize this is who I am and I'm confident and comfortable with who I am, I think that makes a world of difference.
Richard Leider, who is arguably the world's foremost expert on the power of purpose. What are the simple steps that an average person can take to try to figure their path forward, to try to connect with their purpose?
One of the things that really is a breakthrough for a lot of people, although it's difficult, is this: action precedes clarity. You don't just think about a purpose and then live it. You act, and out of that action comes some clarity about what really matters in certain ways. The American essayist E.B. White said, "I arise in the morning, torn between a desire to save the world and a desire to savor the world. This makes it hard to plan the day." Well, actually, retirement and life in general as human beings is about both. A life of retirement that's strictly savoring eventually runs out of gas, but a life of just saving also does that. So we need the balance of saving and savoring. If we get up in the morning with a why and we're worried and we're concerned just with our own survival to pay the bills, oftentimes we call that having a job. I have to go to my job because I have to pay the bills. Other people might have a career. They get up and they do something that they care about, that they're growing and things like that. And eventually, though, there's something called a calling. A calling brings who we are to what we do, and there's an engagement. We're healthier when we do that. And so having enough so that we can do what we love to do and bring who we are to life is really what the power of purpose is all about.
Check out protectedincome.org, where you can learn more about Richard's ideas on how financial planning is critical to supporting your purpose journey and enable you to live the life that you want in retirement.
Well, we're talking today on What's Next about the power of the individual, the power you have to affect change no matter who you are. In fact, Banks Helfrich was a clown, a ringling clown, an entertainer, and he started to realize he could communicate some pretty powerful ideas. He became a filmmaker and even a conservationist And then the pandemic hit. And then let me tell you, the worst thing you can do to an entertainer is leave them without an audience. Well, Helfrich says that's when he realized it wasn't the feedback he was missing, because what's really fulfilling is creating the message.
Back when I was in college, a teacher said to me, is it the applause or is it the process? And I didn't know what she meant at the time as far as process, because I was all into the applause. Once that moved over to the process, I love it.
Yeah, I guess the process is expressing yourself, and the applause is just the validation that others got it, but it's not the most important part.
Exactly. And Bill, you bring up a great word, validation. There was pre-pandemic me that was into validation. This is what I would do my shows and do what I did because I wanted the validation. And when I decided, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do this no matter what. I don't have to have the validation. I don't need the validation. It'd be nice to have it. It'd be nice to have the applause. However, that is not what makes me do what I do. It's not the validation. When I see people just do what they do because they love to do it, Bill, that's the key. Do what you do because you love to do it. I think we are moved by passion. When we see passionate people, when I laugh at my own joke and you don't think it's funny, Bill, all of a sudden you are attracted. You have an affinity to the passion I have for that punchline, I think.
Really interesting guy. Great advice from Banks Helfrich. And, some say it is passion that makes us even more attractive to others. And Mark, maybe there's something to that.
Bill, I absolutely believe it. In fact, the personal characteristic that I find most appealing is enthusiasm, or if you prefer, passion. Enthusiasm is sexy. Enthusiasm is highly contagious, and I, for one, enjoy catching it. Men and women with enthusiasm are stimulating. They make life interesting. They make work successful. They make relationships last. So if you ask me, enthusiasm, passion for life makes someone better looking. It makes them more interesting, and it makes them far more desirable. If you follow us on social media, and we hope that you do, one thing you'll find is that we love to engage our tribe by getting your take on various subjects. And this week, our social media guru, Jess, asked, what's a unique experience that you've had that most people haven't? And the answers poured in. Nancy Schuster said she was given a kidney. David C. Bennett said being a makeup artist for such individuals as President Jimmy Carter and astronaut Wally Schirra. And Shasta Wake said wake surfing at age 72 and posted this cool picture. So, gang, what about you? Amy, what's a unique experience that you've had that most people haven't?
That's such a tough question to answer because I'm so boring. Like, I've never jumped out of a plane. I've never gone bungee jumping because I'm a big fat chicken. But I'm probably going to say working in local TV. A lot of people haven't done that and haven't ad-libbed for minutes or hours or, sometimes days during a hurricane or during a tornado, and just chatted with no script. And so that's something I've done that a lot of people haven't.
Yeah, very similar for me. Mark and I get to sit one-on-one with celebrities, rock stars, ordinary people, centenarians, and they tell us their life story. That's such a gift to be able to sit down and have these meaningful conversations about life.
I can say I've not done it yet. I've not experienced that really unique experience of jumping out of a plane or climbing Mount Kilimanjaro or doing something bold and courageous like that. I'm still waiting, and there's still time.
I have leveraged the opportunity of being a participatory journalist, landed on an aircraft carrier at sea. I've ridden a bucking bronco in a rodeo. I bungee jumped from a hot air balloon. I've wing walked on top of an old biplane, and on and on and on. It is fun to take risk and sign that sheet that acknowledges that, yes, I'm probably going to die, but I'm going to do it anyway. We've been talking today about the importance of passion and enthusiasm. Some of us do get more set in our ways. We become more risk averse. We become less interested in anything new. While others among us become more nimble, we become more adventurous. we become more anxious to try new things and to collect new experiences. And these are the people with passion and purpose. These are the men and the women over 50 who are most successful at finding jobs. They're the ones that are most successful at finding new friends and new lovers, and ultimately achieving health and happiness, because passion and purpose do in fact fuel the life force. Passion and purpose lead directly to what's next. We'll see you next time.